Today we've got a Midland 48 Plus multi, which has some faults on it. Looks very nice and smart. I've had these myself and they've worked fine. In fact, we nearly had one of these as a reference set, but we still went for the Rotel 230. So he says no audio on transmit and poor receive. Okay, so we'll open it up. Okay, so having just done a little test into a monitor receiver, 1 2 1 2, while testing 1 2, it seems a bit noisy on. There is transmitted audio, but whether it's a duff mic lead or whether it is a dirty switch remains to be kind of worked out. What we'll do, we'll put switch cleaner into the mic switch, and that's as far as we go with microphone repairs. We're not going to start putting wrong cables on mics and that kind of stuff. So it will be up to the customer to purchase a new microphone if we prove that the fault is the microphone. So that's that. I mean, what, they're about £18, aren't they? 1 2 1 2. Oops, I'm losing the buttons. That's why I don't really want to be taking these apart. There we go. But you often get a break in the lead where it goes into the actual mic head. That's where the strain is, and of course there's a strain relief bit of sleeving there to help. I mean, these sets can now be what, 12 plus years old. This isn't the current version, which has a lot more of the surface mount parts in. We've done the blue one recently on here, so this is the earlier one. So we'll just screw this back together and see whether we still have iffy audio. I had to replace one of these mics on one of our Midland 78s in our Toyota car, not the car we use for tests. There must have been something wrong with the shield in the cable, because when you keyed up, you kind of got feedback on yourself, and it was the microphone. So, you know, I simply had to shell out 18 quid and order a new microphone. It's nothing, you know, I have no idea where these microphone leads come from, and they certainly don't come from our wholesaler, so we just have to end up buying another microphone. I think I've changed channel now. I have. Testing 1 2, testing 1 2, testing 1 2, testing 1 2. Sounds pretty crummy. 1 2 1 2 1 2. But how much of that is the radio off frequency is another matter. So we'll come to that. No, it's not off frequency. So what we're going to do, we'll do this actual service work with a brand new microphone, and then we'll come back to the customer's microphone later on. So I'll go and drag one of those out of stock. So here's a brand new microphone, C714. And yes, it's up, down and lock. The original's made in Thailand, the replacement's made in China. That comes with some blurb about how to throw it away when you're done with it. So now we'll see what this sounds like through the packaging. Testing 1 2 3 4 5 5 4 3 2 1. Well, it sounds pretty crummy still, so you know, we'll evaluate the microphone later, even if it's on the air test, and we do it to our base station as we tend to. So we need to go through the radio, and I can tell you straight away the radio is doing 3.1 watts, 3.2, somewhere around there. So it's not as bad as some can be. But the whole thing does sound like it's off frequency, even though it isn't. Okay, so let's. I've dug out some service information. I haven't got much on it, but we've done one of these before, and luckily it's the same. Looks to me like the same Schedule 5 board that we've looked at before. So that help matters. So basically we've got transmit chain there, and we've got the receive there. 505 for the detector. Is that 505? It looks like it. So if we key up, I'll go picture in picture, then you can see it as well. So if we key up, helps if the radio's switched on. So we've got 3.4 watts, something like that. So it has TX power preset of RV802. RV802. This seems to totally differ from what I've got, but oh dear. I think we're talking about that one being transmit power, so just have a look. It is. So that's, if that's full, it's 3.5 watts. So let's just go through. We're on, just make sure we're on channel 20 UK. We are. So we'll just go through the transmit lineup. I think that one's on the receive, so I will twiddle it. I can't see anything happening there. So I don't want this to be on full whack, otherwise it's going to not help the radio at all. I just need it at the point where it doesn't make any difference. You've got a point where you turn it and you've got power up, power up, power up, and then suddenly you can carry on turning it and it makes no difference. And that's the point at which we need to have it to the point where it just becomes no difference, because you're upping the voltage and just putting strain on the radio when it's not going to develop any more power. So that's where we are with that, and it's a warm set, and it's now doing 3.5 watts. We've probably gained 0.2 with that exercise. So that wasn't his main issue. We better take the cellophane off my new microphone. And we're probably going to get a dodgy response from the transmitted audio tests. I'll throw that away and put it back in the box without. This is just protect. This blue is just protection from the aluminium faceplate that peels off. So we're looking at deviation. We'll get the little oscillator out that we use, and as you can see, we've got 1.5. There's 1.5. We want it to be about 2.2 to be ideal. And deviation is where? Probably there. It is. So at full, it's now about 1.7. So let's give it a whistle test. Wallow. Wallow. We just, yes, you can get 2.2 there. Wallow. So we're all right. But it's at full. So that should sound all right. Just listen on our monitor receiver. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's on channel 20. Why aren't we on channel 20? Because I've managed to move it to channel 21, that's why. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wallow, 1, 2, 1, 2. So that's a start there. Now we won't be able to get into AM without going to CPT, so I want to cover that with him talking about no audio and with it being an AM capable set. So has it got a real power meter? And I think it has. The radio keeps going off, and this isn't very much fun either. It's actually this connector. So the pins want closing up a little bit. Nothing worse than radios going off while you're trying to work on them. Hopefully it won't do that now. So we'll look at RF power. It's probably going to be that back one. But it isn't. Try the next one. It's that one. So that sets that for 4 watts. That one there. So what does that one do? So I'd expect AM modulation to be that one, but what we're going to have to do, we are going to have to go into AM. So, like it or not, that's what's going to have to happen. So we change band. We're in EC, and we're going to have to reprogram it for EU. Can't remember what the protocol is for this. Is it both those buttons at once? No, it's not. Is it that one? No. Is it both of those? No. 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 We're going to have to find some instructions from somewhere. Well, I'll tell you what, the thing to do is to go onto the receiver and I'm going to press scan now. we'll go on to the receiver, we'll work on that, and then we'll come back to where we are with transmit. Otherwise be up and down like a yo-yo. So extension speaker, we'll plug it into that socket. You've got external speaker, you've got PA, and you've got S meter, which is useful. So make sure everything's there. Let's squelch down the signal generator to channel 20, which is 2779125. Well, I can't say it sounds that wonderful. Now we're on with the signal generator. My goodness. Still going off. So I'll move this onto the synad meter. I'll tell you what, we'll do the detector first, it might be out. We'll put S9 on. I expect that's the detector. Yeah, it is, and it's out. Good, that'll have improved his receive straight away. Yeah, it's not sounding garbled now. And that's 0.3 of a microvolt, that's great. Okay. So that was his receive problem. So we'll move the camera onto the synad meter. So about 4 decibels. Let's knock that down a bit, there we go. And we'll just go through these receive coils. That was already spot on. Bit of leeway there. I'll just see whether this one I've disturbed before is received. Yes, it is. And then that just leaves us with this one. Just put a bit more signal on. It's one of these where I've got to look at quality as well. It's about there. That might be the AM detector, we'll check that in AM. Right, we'll look at some synad figures on this. So for 20 decibel synad, it's doing, I could say 1 microvolt, or I could be kind and say 0.95 microvolts. It's very good, this. For 12 dB, we're looking at 2.4 microvolts. And for 10 dB, we're looking at 0.24 and 0.2 microvolts. So that's very good. So we nearly started using these as the test ones in the cars, but I didn't like the bar graph meter. And talking about bar graph meters, let's see whether it's saying S9. And that could be that bottom adjustment, which we thought would be RF. It is. So there's our S9. So that's now set. And if we go up with the signal generator, we're getting higher, and if we go down, we're going down. So that's great. So that's that set. So to recap so far, it was S meter for receive, transmit meter for transmit power, transmit FM deviation. I suspect that's going to be AM modulation, and this is going to be preset squelch. So we'll see where the squelch is. I'm going to put the squelch to full. There we have the squelch to full. And now I'm going to take the signal generator to 100 microvolts, which is your S9 equivalent. That's 30 microvolts. That's 100. It just nearly came in. So I'm going to adjust this till it does come in. We'll back that down to 30. That's excellent. That's where we want it to be. So that is your preset squelch. So we'll turn the signal generator off, but park it at 0.3 of a microvolt, and turn the squelch down to minimum, and set threshold. And switch the signal generator back on. Remember, at 0.3 of a microvolt, it's come straight in. So I'm turning the signal generator down. We're now at 0.11 of a microvolt, which is where we've lost it. And we're coming in at 0.15 of a microvolt. 0.11, 0.15. That is superb squelch. It's amazing how far out the receive sounded, and it was just the detector that was out. So I think we've dealt with that. Has it got some kind of auto squelch? I don't think these have. No. So I'll have to pause the video. I'll have to find enough instructions to get me to be able to reprogram this for EU channels so we can access AM. Okay, so having consulted the instruction book, it's AM, FM and scan. Well, I've done that, hadn't I? Oh well, I obviously didn't press them hard enough. To do 4 watts, we're going to need E. Then we press AM, FM to lock that in. So we're doing this on channel 40, so we're still in the middle of the actual band we're working on. So what mode am I in? AM, FM. I'll tell you what, while we're in FM, we'll just see if the thing's on frequency. I think it is from what I've just kind of been seeing. So it should be on 27405. 2740495. Just wants to pop up a bit. So if we find the reference oscillator crystal 10.24, the crystal is going to be right by there. Well, this is fun, isn't it? Yes, I can see it. It's under all this wiring. We've now got it slightly high, which gives us a bit of headroom as it drops down with age. So that's that sorted. So the crystal trim, as you saw, is just under there. So that's that. So we're just going to AM, and we'll look at the modulation. I'm going to have to retune the meter because we're now on a different frequency, and we'll just put this camera onto the main meter of the test instrument, which becomes the modulation meter, and unplug the extension speaker. One, two, 1, 2. Wallow. Wallow. That's actually over the top. That needs to come down. So I think this is going to... We'll get the little oscillator back out. Makes this kind of job easier. So it's kind of 100%, which we don't really want. So there we are. That was indeed AM modulation. So that's now set up. Wallow. That's excellent. So now we'll go on to... We'll just switch over to FM again and just check the deviation. Wallow. Wallow. That's now too loud. There could be some interaction here. Turn that down a bit. Wallow. Good. So that's dealt with the transmit side, and we need to just check that receive detector now. So 27405 on the signal generator. It is. So it wasn't having much of an effect on FM, so it must have been AM. So we'll turn the signal generator down, and we'll move this onto the synad meter, and we'll just get best on that. There we go. Job's a good one, as I say. So I'll now go back onto UK channels. There we go. So we'll go on to channel 20. There we are. So we'll once more check the deviation, because remember, one of the things this has come in for is poor transmitted or no transmitted audio. So we'll just reset that once again. So we've got 3.6 watts. I'll just move this down so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, and then we're going to transmitted or deviation. I'll need to change the frequency back again. There we go. Wallow. 1 2 1 2 testing 1 2. Let's see what that sounds like on the monitor receiver. Testing 1 2 testing 1 2 3 4 5 5 4 3 2 1. And I'll just unplug our mic and test the customer's mic. Remember, I cleaned the microphone switch, and on CB radios, unlike business radios, the audio goes through. Testing 1 2 3 4 5 5 4 3 2 1. Well, that sounds all right on the customer's mic, but he knows that if it does play up, he just simply needs to get another mic for the set. It does sound all right. When we do our on-the-air test, I'll do it on the new mic. Then when we go over to the base station, I'll demonstrate the customer's mic separately, just so we've got kind of proof of the pudding, so to speak. So I'm now satisfied that's transmitting and receiving well. The meters are calibrated, and it's a very sensitive radio. That, I mean, when I've just looked at the instruction book, you know, it does say on the dB figure it's about 0.5 microvolts for 20 dB sound. Well, we've got 0.95 out of it, and I do take some of these manufacturer specifications with a pinch of salt. I certainly would if it was Volkswagen, wouldn't I? So I'll put that back together and we'll put it on the aerial. Okay, so we're on an aerial now. Could lose that. There we go. Let's press scan and see what happens. Not a lot. So we'll go out of scan, put it in the other mode. Straight away the interference has come up. See how that restricts the range around here? No. Go back to UK. Let's go to 19. One niner, Roger. Yeah, well that didn't do anything. Okay, so somebody out there. We'll do an on-the-air test tonight. So we'll start with the new microphone, and then we'll go to the customer's microphone later on. So that has sorted it out. Between one reason and another, the no transmit, the audio, and it being garbled on receive was mainly the fact that the detector coil was out. So thank you for watching Midland 70. No, it's the Midland 48 Plus Multi.